don't forget to like and subscribe.
Hello there. Yes, it has been a minute since I've read from my book. I've been preoccupied. I've been trying to work. I've been distracted. There's many excuses I have. But yeah, I really just need to commit to doing everything. I've tried to do something every day, which is a good thing. But I need to continue reading because I need to continue writing. Yeah, from what I hear is the state of book 2, the editing process is near completion. My editors got sick, so hopefully by the time someone's watching this book 2, book 3, book 4, book 95 are already out. Also, follow me on Wattpad? Yeah, Wattpad. Links in the description. If you want to read like my most recent book, I'm doing a sci-fi. Sci-fi like wolf and cub type story. I plan on doing a series with that. Follow me there. Yes, I've got supernatural things there too, and I've got a reason as to why that's there. I have a whole. I love world building. Okay, I love world building, and I'll get into that later. Okay, chapter 12. One mentor to another. Ash had been in Scale's cave training, which was nothing more than Scale attacking him and Ash having to figure out how to counter and attack. The training would go on for a long time. Then, when Scale would leave the cave, Ash would be left alone to meditate. Now, what do you see? Scale's voice cut through the darkness. Ash was startled to hear the old man inside his meditation, but he composed himself and responded to the darkness. I am where I always am. Describe it. I am in darkness, in a place of nothingness. Suddenly, a hole of flame and ice opened into Ash's mind, and a young man with thick reddish-brown locks stepped through. Wow, you really can't see anything, the man said, looking around blindly. Scale? Ash asked, astonished. The young man looked in the direction from where the voice came. Yes, I am just surprised to see you looking so young. You really are new to this, Scale said while facing Ash with the portal behind him. All Ash could see was Scale's silhouette as he opened his arms wide. I believe this space to be nowhere, but I have spent many cycles trying to figure it all out with no real success. One thing I have come to realize is that our space shows what our power. Space shows what power you are more veered toward. But in all my cycles, I have never heard of a space like yours. He stopped and looked around. What is that supposed to mean? And what can you move? And how can you move? I move because I am not here. I can move myself freely in the space you can see, but I cannot go beyond that. As for what it means, well, I am not sure. His silhouette gestured to the hole in the darkness. What would you say I am best with? Fire and ice, Ash answered. But fire and ice, Ash answered. But you have never used ice or fire with me before. As you know, you can cast any spell as long as you know how. But your natural elements are far stronger, which is why I have not used mine with you. I have control, but it is best to use my more powerful elements. But it is best to not use my more powerful elements. Also, to cast an element takes more time. It is far quicker to throw things around and that would make it hard for fast training if I am just sitting around working on one spell. Suddenly, a massive explosion of bells was heard as a distant echo in the darkness, dissolving the world around Ash. As he was forced out of his meditation, Scale was standing in front of him with a hand resting on Ash's head. Scale opened his eyes as well as looked up. "What was that?" Ash asked. "Something must have gone wrong. We must go," Scale responded solemnly. The sound of ringing grew more intense. The bells in Standing had been magically modified to notify all around. Even those outside normal hearing reach, and to let them know, even those outside normal hearing reach, and to let them know when they were needed to mobilize. Scale had a serious look on his face. "What is the matter?" Ash asked. "I will go find out," Scale said, turning to look at Ash. "You must report to Standing's main gate. I will find you when I know exactly what is going on." Previously unseen ramps emerged in the side of the cave. Scale turned around toward the newly exposed entrance of the cave, and with a burst of speed which Ash had never known Scale to be capable of, he was gone. Ash got up and made his way out of the cave for the first time since he had left with Scale for what he assumed to have been a couple seasons. As he walked out of the cave, he was hit with the cold of winter and the brightness of the first light. Brightness of the first light he had seen since his eyes had become adjusted to the darkness. He threw his thick robe back on for the first time since he had entered the cave, and covered his head and face once again as he joined the massive number of casters who had arrived over the seasons of his solitude training. The large crowd made its way to the main gates of Standing and stood waiting to learn the reason they were called there. There was an obese man in bright multicolored robes standing atop the wall. A simple spell which made a small wind circle in the air was cast by a thinly robed man standing next to the overweight man. I should have said overweight gentleman. Overweight man. I should make a mark in here. There we go. Mark in here. Ah, crap. It's not there. The big man struggled up towards it. And after a minute to catch his breath, he spoke into the casted spell, wheezing with every word, as if it was a challenge for him just to speak. "My great army, I am Garrett, the Lord of Standing, the first ruler of men, and the one to bring peace to us all." He paused for dramatic effect. The front lines needed aid. He paused for dramatic effect. The front lines need aid, and those of you who have been here longer than 2 months will be conscripted out. You are the spear of our people, and will bring great honor and receive much glory. The speaker's voice carried over all the land due to the spell, but Ash zoned it out, not caring much for the lies of that man. He spotted Scale perched on a watchtower, looking over the crowd with a sorrowful look on his face. What is the matter, old man? Ash thought. Just then, Scale locked eyes with him, having spotted him in the huge crowd and from the great distance. The speech ended, and a new person took Garrett Lord's place. The speech ended, and a new person took Garrett Lord's place and begun to yell out orders. I think I was supposed to flip that. Lord Garrett's place. This pin's empty. People were to report to their trainers for placement in the army. Men near Ash began moving around, looking for their trainers, while Ash simply remained where he was, knowing that his trainer already knew exactly where to find him. Abyss take them all, Scale said from behind Ash. Ash turned to see an upset Scale and asked him, "What did they do this time?" "It is more of what they did not say." Ash just stared at Scale, waiting for him to elaborate. Scale breathed out a raspy breath as condensation filled the air. The first army sent to the front lines was completely wiped out. What? How? That's where I'm going to leave it for now. As you can see, I definitely need to get back into this because it's gotten worse for me, and I'm trying to make notes with a pen that has no ink. Thank you all for listening. I'll read to you next time. Toodles.